Okay, so we're talking about student debt. Student debt leads you to camming.
It does.
Boom. And
Which
camming leads you to some stripping, although it doesn't feel as much your thing.
did
Where's
not
the
like it.
connection from that space to to Dennis Hoff's, to the Bunny Ranch?
Yes. So I was struggling financially. I really was. And like I was asking my work to give me more hours and they were just literally like 18, 19. They're like, we can't give you more hours because if we gave you more hours, there are people in their 30s who aren't even getting as many hours as you are and they have families. And
They
I'm
were
like,
giving you college hours. They're giving you that sort of 15 to 20. Hey, you can pay for your books. And you're like, no, 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 I got to live.
right, right. It's just like, yeah, it was like bills to pay, car, just everything. It wasn't even like, it wasn't wasting my money. My money wasn't being wasted anywhere. It was, I mean, I was living off of $20 a week and I was going to the 99-cent grocery store. That's, I was
I've been
buying my
there.
food, which is an amazing place. I love it. But I shop there religiously because I couldn't even go to a regular grocery store because I just did not have enough. And it was really sad. And I was just like, my parents tried to help me out as much as they could. The thing is that both of them have worked, almost their whole lives. And it's just like, and they still have to work. So like for me, I was like, there's nothing I could ask them for. There's literally, they don't have it. They're not being stingy. They're not being like, you have to do this all on your own. It was breaking their back, trying to financially support me. So I was like, I need to do this on my own. And so yeah, the hours just weren't working. So while I was working over, still in college and everything, I was doing the cam work and whatnot, and that did not go over very well because the University of Reno, Nevada, the network, it's small town type of time, and everybody knows everybody. And all of a sudden, I would do a cam show, and I get people banging on my door and like screaming out my real name. I would get people, being like, "Oh my God, she's doing a live show." Or I would get people that would join just to troll me. And they were making fun of me for being a sex worker. And it was really hard, except for I was like, I did a cam show and made $700 in like 3 hours. And it's just like, now for me, it's just like, my last live show I did, I was on there for 30 minutes and made almost 1,300. It's just like I was barely on there and didn't even do anything. And people, life is so different now. And it's just like I wish I didn't stop. I wish I didn't let these people like get into my head and try to troll me and bully me and do it that they did, because I felt very ashamed of sex work. And me being ashamed, it ruined my relationship with my parents just for a moment. And it was because I wasn't mature enough to tell them how and why sex work is a good thing and why it's good for me. Because I was listening to all these other people being a bully, and I was just like, okay, I'm just wearing the scarlet A basically.
What 19-year-old should be expected to give to their parents the positive nature of sex work? And that's not fair. I mean, and when you're getting that kind of negative pressure from your peers, you're kind of damned with the A. That's very
Right.
difficult.
Right. I had this moment in college, and this is where my parents started changing around a little bit of their mindset, where I had gotten in some trouble and had gotten into a physical altercation with a male. And I ended up actually spending a full night in jail. I think I was there for about 16 hours. And it ended up just being like this big lie and everything. And anytime I had to go to court the first time, nobody showed up. Everybody just wasted the time. The courts had to pay for the lawyer. My parents paid for that because they're like, this is wrong, everything that happened to you is wrong, we're going to help you get out of this. So
That's
they had to,
great.
which was amazing. And and then from there we had to pay for the lawyer the second time. And then the judge was like, again, nobody showed up, and they're like, case dismissed. They're just like, they're, and
Thank
so
God.
and that was great, but the lawyer still cost a lot of money, and I know that it was a major financial burden on my parents. So I cammed. I cammed my fucking ass off, and I didn't talk to my parents for like a month. And then I drove over to their house and I dropped off every single one of those lawyer fees in cash and said I was sorry.
That bravo.
Yeah, because that was important to me. I wanted my parents to know I'm not a fuck up. I wanted them to know that, like, these things aren't just going to happen. And I know that you guys are upset about me with sex work, but guess what? I dropped that money right back off to you. You helped me. And it's just like, and I made sure that I repaid you back. And it's like, that was very important for me because of the way that my parents raised me. And I know how much that they love me, but I also know how much it angered them. And I was just like, if I'm going to keep doing this sex work, then fucking do it and then save it and give it to them. That way they're like, well, okay. And so I ended up taking some time off from all the camming afterwards because my parents asked me to, and that's when I started working over at In-N-Out Burgers, Christian company, So
Right.
they were very happy about that. They were like, "Oh yeah, she's getting back to her normal self," and I was
Which
like,
is so
"What's
funny
normal?"
because what is normal, and B, the money did the difference in pay you're getting. It's so funny that they'd be like, "We're so happy you're flipping burgers." It's like, wait, what? I'm making 100 times this doing this other thing, but you want $5? Okay, and you tried.
Right,
How
and
long
I
were you at
did
In-N-Out for?
a year and a half.
No.
Yes, I worked there for a year and a half. Chewy's almost a year because I worked 2 jobs at once. And then I added on the nail salon as well, part time. So it's just like, and I ended up leaving In-N-Out because I had awful managers who sexualized me,
Well, yeah.
literally told me to my face that I was the sex icon of, our specific store. I wasn't allowed to wear makeup.
Here's your get back. You create a burger chain, an adult film themed burger chain called Out and In, and then you put it across the street from that In and Out, and Lord knows you'll outsell the bejesus out of them.
I
And
think I won because they all scolded me and made me feel again that Scarlet A type of feeling, while I was doing just cam work. I was literally just camming and doing the stuff on Snapchat, just trying to bring in a little bit of extra more income because
sure.
they wouldn't give me any more hours. And I remember when I left, I got a whole bunch of messages being like, "This is wrong, this is bad, you're gonna end up in a ditch. Like, you can always come back, you can come back to us and change your life." And I think like my biggest fuck you is I'm doing amazing, and everything that everybody tried telling me was wrong, and I'm successful. I am happy. I'm Penthouse Pet of the Year. Like,
Yeah.
I am with the most prestigious agent in the entire industry.
Well, to adapt the Jay-Z quote, you're not a businesswoman, you're a business woman.
Yes.
And also, in the end, and then, I've got the two Georges back here. We've got our two Georges. Take that, Christianity. Look
Yeah,
who, look who
seriously.
won here. Who's bigger than Jesus Christ? Lacy
People,
Lennon.
I'm like,
Whoa.
I'm over here, like, I'm not very religious, but at the end of the day, there's been a lot of love and success and good things that have happened in my life. I'm pretty sure Jesus does love me. If Jesus
Yeah.
is there, I think that he loves me. And I think people are hateful about that because they're just envious, is really all that it is. They're extremely envious, and they're envious that I'm authentically happy.
Hard work
I did.
prevails
And,
over
and I,
everything.
it does. Hard work prevails over everything. And I learned that from my parents because neither one of them grew up easy at all. Anybody that I was raised around, nobody grew up easy. And so, for me, it's just like I didn't come into sex work for it to be easy. I still want it to be as hard as possible. And I'm
Well, that's a
grateful for
good. Right. It being as hard as possible is very important in your biz.
that. It's very important.
That's a great catch. That's such a great double entendre tagline. I want it to be as hard as possible.
Of course. Yeah, so I mean, I was in beauty school
Mm,
and I had met a girl. Her name was Pantera. And
wonderful.
so I'm crying outside of my beauty school because I'm figuring out how to make $20 work a week. I'm like, I paid all my bills, and I'm literally like, I'm just tired of not eating anything. I'm tired of not even being able to have a soda or a juice, or like, it was really hard on me. And so I'm crying, and she comes outside, she goes, "What the fuck are you crying about?" I was like, "What?" I'm like, I guess nothing. And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, you should shut the fuck up." She goes, "Do you know how beautiful you are?" And I was just like, I guess. And she goes, you know how much money that you could be making? And I was just like, and I was thinking, and I was like, oh, the stripping thing, oh, the canning thing. And then she goes, you ever hear of the Bunny Ranch? And I said, no. And then she's like, you ever hear of a brothel? And I said, no. And I said, what exactly is it? She goes, if you're smart enough, you'll figure it out yourself. And she goes, and you'll change your entire life. And then she just walked away.
Whoa.
Crazy. So
Pantera. It's like guardian
Pantera.
angel.
And I believe she actually still works there. Originally, she never wanted me to tell anybody that story. And she even told me if I, ever saw her there, she goes, you don't know me, you've never met me. And I was like, okay, cool. So
Guardian angel's gonna do that.
I literally go home later that night and I do some research and I'm looking everything up and I'm just like, okay, this is new heights for me. And, I was just like, I'm pretty sure this is prostitution. But then I did more research and I was like, no, but it's legal. And I'm just like, officials go there. You put it on your taxes. It's 100% legal. So I sent an email to Dennis Hoff that night. Mind you, I had barely any connection and I had no I had no actual internet inside my apartment, and then my LTE was awful. So I sent him an email, and the written email went through. He immediately goes, can you send me a picture of you and your ID, please? So I took the picture because he wanted to make sure that he wasn't talking to somebody who was 16, 17. He was like, before we continue, send me your ID. He goes, you can cover up the important information, but he's like, I need to know you're over the age of 18. And, for safety for everyone. And that's extremely commendable because a lot of other, pimp type guys are just like, oh yeah, you're hot, just come on. And just, no, Dennis was he was big on legalities, and that was important to me. So I go to send him the pictures and the pictures aren't sending. So I drive to a McDonald's because they have free Wi-Fi. And I'm sitting there sending the email. And so I'm sitting there. And he instantly replies back and goes, when can you take a call? And when can you come down to the brothel? And so took the call the next day. He wanted to make sure that I knew exactly what it was. He goes, honey, you're young. He goes, you have a whole life ahead of you. He goes, you could come in here and you could ruin yourself by this. And I said, wow. No, I don't think that I will. And he goes, well, he was just like, that's up to you. He's like, but I have to put that disclaimer out there. He goes, because once you start this, he's just like, it's kind of on your record for the rest of your life. And he's like, so you need to be really serious before you start this. I go down to the brothel, I think like a week later. I drive down there. It's funny. I messed up. When you're a girl and you go to the brothel and you work there, you have to ring it twice. You ring it twice. The girls do not line up. I rang it like I was a customer, and all the girls ran up to the front, and they're looking at me and they're like, what does this young dumb bitch want? And all of a sudden I said, is Dennis Hoff here? And all the girls then went, ugh, and then just went away back to their rooms. And I was like, oh no. I was just like, oh, they hate me.
It's competition, I'm assuming, right? They're going to another.
Course.
Sure.
A lot of competition. Yeah, there's money to be made. You know what I mean? And you're all making money underneath the same roof. So of course there's competition, because you're not there to hang out and make friends. You're there to fucking make money. Like, obviously. And some of these girls, I'm not going to disclose any of that information, but some of these girls have families. Some of these girls have children. They have people to take care of, parents to take care of. They have families. For people that think the sex workers don't have families is absolutely ridiculous. My parents,
it's sex work's real work. That's all there's to it. I mean, that's it. It
really is. And so this might actually be like kind of a little bit too much detail, but so when
Bring it on.
So met Dennis, took me to the back and everything, inside the kitchen area, not the back. He took me to the kitchen, the dining room area. And so we had a little meal and we discussed everything. And it just so happened that the day that I met Dennis was 2 days prior, Hugh Hefner had passed away. And so Yeah, so we sat down and Dennis was showing me pictures of him and Hugh, because inside my email I had said that inside my email I remember I'd said I've always wanted to be in Playboy. And so he made sure that when he met me, he was just like, I want to show you these pictures of Hugh. And I also, he had this picture and this story that they were on the Hollywood red carpet. So when you get to be on the Hollywood red carpet, I don't know exactly about today, but back in the past they used to have these like giveaway tents basically. So you walk down the red carpet, and then once you're done, there's like this little side tent where there's these gifts.
Yeah, you
And
get
there
little
were,
gift bags and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. And so inside this tent, there were two pairs of matching sunglasses. And Dennis and Hugh grabbed the same pair of sunglasses and took a picture together. And he still had them. And so he had the picture of them. And then he brought the sunglasses and he goes, I'm sorry you'll never be able to meet Hugh. He goes, but you can wear these sunglasses. And he goes, and I hope that this is, gets you a little bit closer inside your heart to that dream. And I thought that that was really amazing. And it was just, I was just like, it was so kind of him. Of course, it was also him, with that fishing reel,
Oh
reeling
yeah,
me in,
he's hooking you, but
of
it's very
course.
sweet.
Very sweet and a very good businessman. And so, very good
That's the
businessman.
best re-gift of all time.
Yeah. And so after we have these tea parties, I came on a Thursday, and tea parties are basically like these team meetings. And so I got to be there for the team meeting. They go over, what the girls are making that week, top sellers of the week, and any upcoming plans. And then they always end the tea parties generally with saying something nice about the you're in a big circle, so you start with the one person and you say something nice about that person, and then you complete the circle, or you say like what you're grateful for, or what your next goal is. And so they're almost like these team meetings called tea parties.
Sure. I mean, more smart business by Dennis. I mean, he's keeping everyone together, pushing away bad energy and fights by having these social hours.
Yeah. And so, yeah, so then from there, I just wasn't in a great place inside my life and everything. And I didn't really like my apartment. And so I asked my mom, because I had a cat, and I had asked my mother, and would she be okay to watch my cat and everything. And well, actually before because I'm acting like my parents are just cool with it at first. So this is the craziest thing ever, and I'm just like, I might regret telling the internet this. So my biological father, not a great human being. My mother and my stepfather are like angels from above, and I'm so grateful for them. And
That's great.
they are who raised me, and they're wonderful people. So biological shit face calls my mom and says, I ruined his vacation because yes. 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 That's exactly.
Whoa! Wow!
So my mom instantly
You had no idea, or did he just see you and go, "Oh"? He walked in. He was like this. He's like, "Fuck yeah, vacation."
He I guess went onto the website, and I guess he was going to book an appointment,
Oh,
and he saw me, and he sent all of that info to my mom. And he's over here thinking my mom is going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe that she would ever do something like that. No, my mom stood the fuck up for me, and she was just like,
mom!
she goes, so what do you mean, just because she works there doesn't mean you have to sleep with her. She's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? She was like, why do you have to see her at all? My mom is like, how does this ruin your vacation unless you were trying to fuck her? And right, exactly. And so my mom stood up for me and everything. And she told him just to go away, get out of my life, that I'm an adult, just completely stood up for me. Then gets off the phone with him, calls me and tells me about it. And she's like, why didn't you tell me? She goes, if you would have just told me, everything would have been fine. And then she's just like, but why did I have to hear it from him? And I explained to her, I'm embarrassed. It's just like, I just didn't want you guys to not love me anymore. And it's just like, but this was the right move. And after I had worked there for a few months, I had paid off, vast majority of my bills and everything. And I was coming because the brothel is only like 45 minutes away from my parents' house. And so my mom was just like, well, she was just like, do you need help with your animals? And I was like, I would love help with my animals. And my parents only, and like while I was over at the brothel, I used to be really, bad and in deep with drugs and alcohol, and I was also on a lot of prescribed medication growing up as well, antidepressants, anxiety, sleeping medication. I have really bad scoliosis. And the brothel pushed me to become 100% sober. So I am completely clean. I smoke a little bit of a vape pen and then some cannabis, but I'm very proud of myself because there's no pharmaceuticals in my system. There's no cocaine. There's no ketamine. There's no Adderall. There's no Xanax. It's just like I went as far as trying meth and heroin. And it's just like I was really, I was in the hard places in my life. And it was the brothel that completely changed my entire perception of life and who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do with, my career and just myself in general, which it allowed me to become strong, and I got away from the abuse. I was, very abusive relationships, and I got away from all of the toxic, items and people inside my life, and started over at this brothel, and, was just so focused on becoming a businesswoman. And I fell in love with business and negotiating and brand building and creating something out of nothing more than I've ever wanted any sort of substance on this planet. Nothing feels better than success.
Incredible. I mean, and what a tag of the brothel got me clean.
Yeah.
That's not the expected, like moral of the story or end to Cinderella is the brothel got me and that is wonderful, and absolute congratulations to
Thank
you.
you.
We all know how difficult that is. Now, may I ask you, we were talking Bunny Ranch.
Mhm.
And I know that the progression of that, it becomes a very successful space for you and a great launching pad for your, for your porn career. I mean, from the Penthouse Pet of the Year to your immense success in the adult film industry. But you also had a special connection with Dennis from the Sunglasses Forward. Is it correct? You were one of his companions before he passed. Is that correct?
So I never slept with Dennis Hoff ever. I
Companion
never was.
can
Of
does,
course. I think Dennis and I, we were really close friends. And Dennis had always told me, he goes, you never have to sleep with anybody who you don't want to. He goes, you never sleep with somebody who you don't want to, because then you'll regret it. And he told me the women that are intimate with me, it's not because they're getting anything. He goes, it's because they want to be intimate with me. And he goes, I'm a damn good lover. And I was like, I believe you. You don't have to show me, but I believe you. And he
with
told
that
me
level of
that,
confidence, yes.
but yeah, and he had told me, and it's the fact that he kind of threw it in front of my face at one time, trying to get me to sleep with him, and I told him no, and I said no, I'm not interested, and I said I'll work the hard way, and I'll just work on the floor. He then was proud of me because he goes, I was just testing you, and he goes, you will be more successful, and he goes, because you're smarter than the rest of them, and he goes, don't just give away yourself. He goes, you need to be smart, you need to be a businesswoman. He goes, sleeping with me will get you nothing, but he said working these floors will make you millions. And so anytime I would hang out and talk with Dennis, it would always just be about business. It would be about how to negotiate. It would be like, Dennis, do you have anybody coming in or whatever? And he would tell me who he had coming in. He would tell me, go research them. He said, go find what they're interested in. And,
Sure.
that way when they come in, you have something to talk about. You know exactly what it is that they're doing, because he would bring
That's
in.
no different than my work. Like if you want to be successful in this, you better know the person you're going to talk to. What an advantage to not just bat eyelashes and be there, to go like, their interests, how you can kind of, how you can talk to them. That's very smart.
Of course. And then also I've always been very technological, like savvy in a sense. And
Well,
so I've
McDonald's
always
Wi-Fi, sometimes you just
but I've been very savvy. And so like for me learning, he taught me how to back search people and back search them, even if like you define them, to find out as much information as possible, because sometimes you get people in the emails and they'd be like, oh, my budget is like $100, $200. And you're just like, that's not going to work. So you back search, you find these people, you find out their real jobs, you find who it is that they really are. they say $100, you say, come on in, because I back search you and you're a fucking millionaire. And then you get them in your room and then you negotiate. And it's just like, and then from there, it's just like, Dennis taught me a million ways to negotiate. He gave me books on negotiations. He would sit down and teach lessons. Like after I turned 21, Dennis threw me a 21st birthday party. It was a dirty Disney birthday party, so I could be the Little Mermaid. And all
What
the
an
girls
Ariel.
dressed up as Disney princesses for me, which was insane. I didn't think that they were actually going to do that.
Penthouse Pet of the Year for 2020. This is extraordinary. You manifested it. It was in your goal journal. You said this. You said, I want pet. I want Pet of the Year. You did it.
That was all I wanted for 2020. That was I was like, with all the COVID craziness, and I was just like, out of everything, I was just like, I just wanted to keep my savings just high, and I just wanted to keep saving and saving and saving. And I did that. And the only other thing I wanted was Penthouse Pet of the Year, because that's something that people look at, whether you're in the industry or not, and they go, that's actually kind of cool.
It's a gold medal. It's a championship. Oh, well. Is that not extraordinary? Talk about a lifetime. I mean, you must be so proud first of all, that cover is extraordinary.
It's amazing. Here, this one's also suitable for work as well.
Oh yes, wow, that is the jeans, the Guess Jeans ads are coming soon too, right?
I know. I thought that was so funny because I didn't get to plan out my shoot or anything. They were the ones that did everything, which is cool. But I think it came out very beautiful.
Extraordinary. Thank you for sharing that.
Did not get cover on this one. My name's on the front though.
That's when you were pet, right?
Yes.
And this is cool.
Also suitable for work.
Oh yeah, there you are. Boy, I thought that the lightsabers were great show and tell. You're our third pet of the month we've had on the program. Olive Glass has been here. Riley Nixon is a good friend who, in fact, I'm not the flexible one, but Riley gave me these. Now I've shown off that I'm wearing slippers during this interview. She gave me Mando socks when she went to Disneyland last spring, and she gave me some Mando socks with Grogu on them and all that stuff. It is so cool. It's such a great achievement. But let me ask, in the pandemic year, you get the high honor. What month did you get it?
Pet of the Year is just Pet of the Year. Because
when did they announce it?
In November.
Oh, of this year.
Yeah. November of 2020 is when they announced it.
Oh, how, what? That's so cool. Cause I was thinking wouldn't it be a bummer if you got it in February and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go and I get to, all the pageantry of this thing and I can't go outside and see people when I'm the pet of the year, but
yeah,
it still got to be, that tag, you never lose that award, right? That is you can always have Pet of the Year. I have something I'd like to close on, and it's a quote.
Yes.
It's a quote that you have on your
Freddie.
Twitter. But yeah, you have a Freddie Mercury quote, and oddly enough, it's upside down, so you have to work to read this quote. I know that that's intentional, so you don't even have to tell me. This quote, do you know it by heart, or shall I read it?
On stage, I'm a devil, but in life, I'm a social reject.
Yes, indeed. Yes. On stage, I'm a devil, but I'm hardly a social reject. Where does this meaning come for you from Queen's Freddie Mercury?
Freddie is somebody who I've always idolized. He is this magical, mystical unicorn that we were gifted, and then we completely ran him off the cliff, And it's heartbreaking because he's somebody that was so kind and so shy and just so beautiful on the inside, and had this voice and this musicality that nobody, there's a couple people maybe that you can compare them to. And he was so ashamed of his sexuality, and he felt like he had to hide it. And again, he was this very shy and timid person in real life, and he was so sweet and so kind and misunderstood. And then boom, you put him on stage and everybody loves him. Okay. And I relate a lot with that. It's like whenever I listen to his live aid concerts, it puts me in tears every single time because he has AIDS and he barely has a voice, and yet he's still out there. Like, it was like about to make me tear up. And he's still out there just singing because it's for the people. He needed to be he needed to be in the hospital, and he was so selfless, and he sang for the rest of the world. Who does that? Who does that anymore?
A truly special figure, and that moment has lived on. That moment is iconic.
I feel like when I'm performing, I finally get to, all the emotion and the, velocity of everything that's inside of me. I'm able just to scream it out in my performance and pour it out, and like almost like, dangerously, like pour it out. I just want everything, just all of the energy. And then it's like, then I come off camera and I start to go home and I'm in sweats. I'm in I don't wear tight clothes in public. Like, I'm always wearing like really baggy clothes and sweaters. I don't like the attention. And it's just so different. So I just kind of feel like I'm very misunderstood in society. And in a way, unfortunately, so like I'm trying to get society to understand and see my point of view now. So it's not a thing like, oh, well, we appreciate her when she's dead. I want people to learn that you should appreciate people while they're still here. And
I appreciate you here. And you're a human being. You are
yes.
and unabashedly a human being. And that is hard for people because the elevation of fame, whether it's within your genre or any other art form or status, is hard for people that don't have that to reckon, and even many people with that fame and recognition, to reckon with the human side of people. You continue to give you and be you, as we've talked about this entire discussion. People will mourn every other human being wants that from you. Every other human being, they didn't even know that they wanted it, but they get the comfort of, oh my gosh, I feel that way. Yeah. I want to just be myself. I don't want to be put into a box. And kudos to you for continuing to just be yourself, be a human being. And as you said, it does pay off. It is your brand. I mean, there's the elevated you, but it has paid off in that you have unabashedly said, no, I will be me. I will make the money as me. I will do the things that I think are appropriate in the road I want to travel. And that's remarkably commendable. And I think that our audience, whether they know adult film or not, will say, I think that's a remarkable human being.
I sure hope so. And I hope that viewers see this and that they're inspired to make sure that they stick truly to who that they are on the inside, because you only have one life to live.
It's such a pleasure having you here, and thank you for your history and imparting wisdom. All I asked is a signed copy of the book down the road when you put it out, because the stories are killer and the journey is amazing. And the woman is even more amazing than the stories and the journeys because she's where they've come from. Lacy, thank you so much.
Thank you. I had an amazing time.
Penthouse Pet of the Year. I'm melting in all the best ways. Thank you so much. Have a great night. I can't wait till next time.
Bye.
Bye. I am melting again.